kind of fun to be working with some different shapes. So I've got all that piece together now. That's looking kind of fun. It's kind of scrappy, so a great way of using up bits and pieces if you're going to be cutting your own fabrics. Also, you can make a nice pat look quite scrappy by mixing them around. So I've already started pressing my seams one way, so I'm going to continue on with that. My ironing board's not very big here. So I'm just going to press them over to one side. So everything should sit really nicely because these hexagons are quite a nice shape to work with. So as long as you just don't stretch those seams when you're stitching them, everything sits really nicely. Let's come up here and finish this bit. I always like to press from the right side if I can. That bit in there. And there we have it. So that half shape is some sort of a trapezium or trapezoid or one of those names that they use for that shape that's got the two parallel sides and the two angled sides. They're not always necessarily the same angle, I believe, in a shape like that, but these ones are. So that angle is looking pretty good. A nice big quilt like that would look fabulous. So that angle is actually a 60-degree angle. So I'll just quickly show you how you might achieve that if you're going to use your own fabrics. Now you might cut out lots of hexagons. There's lots of templates on the market. There's small ones, there's large ones, there's some in between. That's actually a paper, so that you could use that as a shape. So you can cut your own hexagons out, or you might just have some strips and you want to do something like that. Because it is no longer a hexagon in actual fact, you can make something that could be slightly longer in shape, more like a lozenge type shape and things. So I'll just show you how you can achieve that 60-degree angle. So as well as there being hexagon templates that you can use, there's also 60-degree angle rulers used for various different forms of patchwork that will give you that shape. So you could lay that so that your straight edge is along a strip of fabric and you'd cut your 60 degrees at that end, and then you would work out how long you want it between and you'd cut it at the other end. If you don't have any of those things, you may have a ruler that has got some angled markings on it. So this ruler here has got 3 markings on it. This one here is a 60-degree angle line, 60 degrees from this edge here. This one is a 45 degrees, which is the average half square triangle sort of side shape. And this one is at 30 degrees if you were after just a smaller angle. But we want the 60-degree angle today. As I said, many rulers have that, not all, but a lot of them do. So what I'm going to do is lay a strip of fabric here along matching the lines on my board as a guide, and this 60-degree line I'm going to lay along one of the other lines, so that when I lay that over the fabric, that's going to give me, I'm not sure if you can, hopefully you can see that, I'm lining that 60-degree line up with a line on my board, so that where it goes over the fabric here, that's actually going to be at 60 degrees. So I can actually cut that at that 60 degrees, and that is the same angle as we've just been sewing on the half of the hexagon. Now I can do the other end of the shape as well. This is where I would want to decide so that all my shapes were the same length, so that we get this nice matching thing going on. I would need to just work out how long I want in between and work out where I can position that on my board to make that work for me. So I'm actually just going to cut this without measuring particularly, because it's just to show you how to cut. So we've cut one end, and again my 60-degree line lined up with one of the lines on the board because the fabric's lined up with the horizontal lines, and I'm going to cut through there. And as you can see, I've got a very nice shape that gives a very good idea of being half a hexagon or something like it. So that's how you can make your own shapes. If you've got lots of scraps, you might have strips. They can be any variety of widths and things, but if you were making something like this, I suggest that you have work with a similar size so that you can make everything match nicely for the lengths and things. So that's that. So I have also had a little play with some smaller hexagons. These are kind of so much fun. I had a lot of these left over from some projects, and I've put together some of the little shapes, and it looks so cute when they're little and even bright like that. So exactly the same thing, I cut these hexagons in half and sewed them together just the same way as I've been showing you on the larger ones. and it makes a really fun, scrappy looking little piece of fabric, or maybe a larger piece because you've done more. And you can turn that into anything you like. Now there's one more thing to show you. I thought we'd just talk about the edges, because now we've got this wonderful edge which isn't particularly what we're used to if we're making a quilt. So I can show you on... can we stop?